Good, you know, the first 2 days, no pads. There's always energy, there's always juice, always guys excited for it. So it was 2 great practices, but you expect that with the type of kids we have, the team we have, and being at Ohio State. It was typical. It was really good.
What is about this receiver group that makes them so special? Them coming out and doing interviews at once and everything like that. Do you see that in the meeting room and out the field?
I think it starts with leadership. The older guys, Johnny Dixon, Paris Campbell, Terry McLaurin, have really created a culture in the room, and they're really close. I mean, they've been together. Obviously, the whole group was here last year. Nobody left, and it's a tight knit group last year. So they're just carrying on, and they really enjoy being around each other. You can see at any practice you're at, after practice, you can find all of the receivers sitting on the benches, like before they go do cold tank and kind of shower. They just sit there for like 45 minutes and hang out and talk, and you can just tell they're genuinely like best friends. So it's just a really tight-knit group.
Zach, with all those veterans you mentioned there, can CJ play a role for this group? Can he get on the field when it counts more?
Yeah, I mean, CJ was that utility guy last year. He was a 7th receiver, and he played some meaningful snaps. How many meaningful snaps he plays will be kind of based on his performance. You know, he had to get bigger. He did get bigger. He had to get stronger. He got stronger. Now he's got to block well enough to play consistently. Right. Last year he was a role player. He was, good in the throw game, but he wasn't great in the run game. So we got to see improvement. And I think so far he's done a good job with that.
When you get a walk-on like that, he started on the other side of the ball. What are the first things that you look at, and what did he do to impress you when you first got your hands on him?
I mean, CJ's a great kid. He runs well. He's very efficient with his body. I mean, he doesn't waste a lot of movement, so he plays faster than he is. And not that he's slow, but whatever speed he is, he plays below that. And he has good ball skills. He understands football, and he really took to teaching. You know, he learned well, and he learned quickly. And so he put himself in a position to contribute.
Zach, how much has the H-back position changed since Curtis has left? It looked like last year with Paris and KJ, it was much more of a receiver position than kind of coming in the backfield and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, that position has always been based on personnel. It's not like we walk in and say the H-back position is some hybrid running back, which a lot of times people say and think, but Curtis did a lot in the throw game too. Sure. We motioned him in the backfield some, but when you had Mike Weber 2 years ago, it's not like we were looking for a running back. And Curtis was just a playmaker. We tried to get the ball in his hands as much as we could. And we probably did that less last year than previous years, but Paris can do all the stuff that Curtis did. I mean, there's nothing that he can't do. It's just a matter of what we want to be on offense. We brought in 2 new coordinators last year that we still did some of it, but not as much. Just that was kind of their influence on the offense. Sure. And we found other ways to get Paris the ball. So
that's
KJ,
still there.
It's all still there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Zach, how much does the eye test matter? Because we were watching for a little bit the other day, and Jalen Harris looks a little bit different than everybody else on this team. I don't know if it's just his size, but where is he? Is he somebody that can take that step? And
he certainly could. Jalen is a very talented kid. You don't see a kid that size that can move like he moves very often, and that's why we liked him in recruiting. I mean, that's his shtick, and he's got to be more consistent. He's got to perform at the level we expect consistently, and then he's got a chance to do whatever he wants to do because he's that talented. But he has to outperform guys to take spots. That's just kind of the nature of competition. So he's got to beat somebody out, and then he can take a spot. And he shows flashes where he might be able to do that.
You guys have a lot of young players on this team that have come in highly recruited, and you have a lot of veterans, obviously. When you say somebody's got to take somebody's spot, given all the talent that you have on this team that's veteran, is that even how possible is it for a young guy to take reps from somebody like KJ Hill? Not to isolate him out, but guys who've been playing for Paris or anybody.
It's like anything else. I mean, if they're playing at a higher level, if somebody's playing at a higher level than KJ, they're going to play over KJ. I mean, I love KJ, and it's not just KJ. Any one of them. If Austin Mack is not playing as well as Jalen Harris is going to play over Austin Mack. And I know what you mean. There's some loyalty to a guy that's played maybe, or you just expect that will be the starter the next year, but there's no expectation here. Everybody's got to go earn it. And so that gives a young guy hope that maybe didn't have as strong of a role, and it keeps those older guys motivated to stay ahead of the curve, stay ahead of those younger guys because they know people are coming after their spot.
Coach, I'm sorry if you already asked this, but Urban said he has challenged you guys to go from good to elite. What does it take to make that jump from being a good receiving core to an elite receiving core?
For us, we just need to be more consistent. We need to make big plays when plays present themselves in big games. And so we did that at times. It just wasn't as consistent as we wanted it to be. And so that's really what it is. I mean, we we had a good year, just not an elite year, and so that's where we're at. That's where we need to take that step in the throw game, in the run game, in every aspect of our game. We just need to take another step.
Kind of going off of that, just how difficult does that make the consistency when you don't even know who your starting quarterback is, and you're kind of splitting reps between the two guys, and
yeah, I mean, that's,
things change a little bit between the two, and just kind of take us through like what you're thinking.
I mean, to be honest, that doesn't affect us much at all. We don't care who the quarterback, center, tackle, none of that matters to us, because we operate under this unit cohesion where it's about us. We're worried about us. We're worried about running our routes, getting separation, getting open. If the ball is there, then somebody else did their job. If it's not there, somebody else will get it right. So it doesn't matter who the quarterback is or who the offensive line is. None of that matters. It just matters that we are where we're supposed to be and open when it's time to be there, and then it's the quarterback's job to get the ball there. And
Urban, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Urban said that Ryan Day is helping out a little bit with the wide receivers. What's his role, and how exactly is he assisting with your unit?
I mean, he does what any coordinator does. I mean, he's kind of in charge of the offense. He's in charge of the throw game and in charge of the quarterbacks. He doesn't coach the receivers or do anything specifically with them, except Johnny Dixon, who needs a lot of help.
Why you need help?
But
What's wrong with him?
anyways, so he does what any coordinator does. He kind of oversees the offense, oversees everything that's being taught, everything being done, and then he really just plays a hand in the whole pass game development and how to run routes and how to complete the ball, progressions, really normal things that coordinators do.
Zach, in your career here, you guys have had some quarterbacks who can really run it.
Yeah, no doubt.
JT, Braxton before that.
Yeah.
Whoever the starting quarterback is, they're not going to be like JT. I mean, JT was so rare in his running ability. Should people just expect that maybe this is just we're going to see a little more with the passing offense just because JT was such a good runner?
I mean, I think that's kind of inevitable here, because you take that offense that was the #1 offense in the Big Ten, and you lose a guy like JT Barrett. You got to replace those yards with something. Yes. And if you don't have a quarterback that's going to run it like he ran it, you better find another way, whether it's handing the ball to Mike Weber or JK or whoever, or if it's in the throw game. Like, we have to replace those yards, and obviously then take it to the next step. We're trying to enhance it. So, yeah, I'd imagine we're going to see the passing offense open up a little bit and the tailback run game open up a little bit. But at the end of the day, this offense is what it is, and there's going to be elements where instead of a dual read where the quarterback might run it, you might have now a throw read attached to the run game where now he's hand it off or throw it. So there's other ways to feature whoever our quarterback is skill set.
Austin Mack's progress in his career.
Yeah.
A little bit as a freshman, good contributor last year.
Yep.
What do you think of the path he's been on and what's next for him? I
mean, I think people lose sight of he was a true sophomore, and he had a really good year for a true sophomore. Now it's time to have a big time junior year. I mean, this has got to be a big step in his career, and I mean, from what I've seen in 2 days, it looks like he's trying to make that step. And so I expect him to be one of the best in the country. That's what he has to be, and he's taking steps to do that.
Guys like us love to make comparisons.
Right.
He makes the comparison, drops Mike Thomas's name. And we know what that is.
Of course he did.
I want to be like the best first 2-year receiver in NFL history. Whatever.
Right.
Is done. Is there something? Can you see what he's talking about? Something to that at all?
Yeah, I mean, it's to compare the two at this point in their career. Austin's probably ahead of him. Now, Mike made a huge jump that next year. I mean, obviously, Mike redshirted his second year. But that's all been Austin's deal from the minute he signed here. Was he would come in and say, whatever Mike Thomas did, tell me I want to do it. Like, whatever it was. If he ate chicken wings on Wednesdays, like, I'm doing that. Like, he was obsessed with it, and he's been obsessed with reaching that level of success. So I think to compare the two, it's hard because of how Mike finished. But Austin has a high upside, and I like where he's heading, the direction he's heading.
Did Mike Thomas eat chicken wings on Wednesday?
No.
That's what I was going to say. Is there rituals or anything that...
Mike Thomas is the most ritualistic human I've ever met in my life. Like, if one little thing was off, he was like, he couldn't, like, walk.
What are some examples of that?
I mean, just from pre-practice routines of getting in the getting contrast in the cold tub and hot tub, to post practice coming in and watching his target reps right away, to Fridays watching game film whenever other people are playing cards. Like, just he has, I mean, from eating certain restaurants here in Columbus. Like, on Thursday he'd come before meetings and I'd walk into my office and he's eating whatever that restaurant was. He was very, very routine.
Zach, how do you feel like you can get, having your top 6 receivers back, how do you feel you can get other guys like Jalen Harris, Demario McCall involved in the rotation this year?
Yeah, it's all performance-based. I mean, first of all, they have to get on the field in special teams. They all do. And that's what my top 6 from last year did. I mean, they were all over the field in special teams. So if they got to get on the field for that. And if they do, then we can talk about playing receiver. And like I said a minute ago, at the end of the day, you got to go beat somebody out. Like, the best guy's going to play. Whoever that is, I don't care if it's you. You could come play X if you want, if you beat out Austin Mack and Ben Victor. And if you do, it's for Ohio State. Like, the best guy's going to play. So if Jalen Harris is the best receiver, he's going to play. And if he's not, he needs to get better. It's really simple. It doesn't sound simple, but it is.
Zach,
Do you
does
think
C.J.
Dan-
Saunders literally
Get in there, Dan.
look bigger to you than he did 6 months ago?
Does he look bigger?
Yeah, he's gained 8 pounds.
I mean, he looks like a linebacker now. He looks huge. I thought he might have to move to like a tight end U-back. No, he looks a little bigger. It's more about functional strength than football strength, though.
Yeah. But have you seen him? Like, I mean, he was challenged last year. You know, obviously.
Yeah.
Urban Meyer says he's got everything going for him except that size. Do you see it coming on?
Yeah, I mean, it's not an easy process for an underweight guy to gain weight. It's hard. But Ben Victor faced it. CJ's faced it, and he's done a good job. He's gained 8 pounds, and you got to gain probably another 8 more, maybe 10 before season, and then you're looking at an 18-pound growth, and that's a significant growth.
Yeah.
But we're talking about what 2.5 months ago is when he gained 8 pounds in 2.5 months. So we got another however many months, and he's got to put some more on. But it's more functional strength than just weight. Like,
but you see him contributing if, in fact, he gets there. Obviously, he played some last
Yeah.
year. I mean,
yeah.
what stands out about him in the other realm?
But at the end of the day, not only are we gonna is CJ have an opportunity to go, take playing time at H position, but you got 11 people on the field. So if you have a guy like CJ Saunders who's just that good that needs to play, you might play more 10 personnel, more 4 wide. There's ways to get them involved where now you can get him on the field because he earned it. It's not just receiver versus receiver. It's, you know what, maybe the tight end's not as good as CJ in the throw game, so we'll go 10 personnel. Or maybe we just go 1 back and go, or no back and go tight end with 4 wide. You're going to play the best 11. So if he's one of the best 11, he's going to be on the field.
Think you'll get as big as a tight end? No.
Hopefully.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, no problem.